What's cooking, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And as you all saw on the weekend, we recently just had a fight with Dricus du Plessis and Kamaru Usman, where Dricus du Plessis beat the living shit out of Kamaru Usman, and the only reason Usman didn't get finished was because he kept crying and calling for fouls that clearly didn't happen. And so that kind of inspired me to make this video where I thought I would make a list of UFC fighters that are currently just pissing me off. Now, this isn't necessarily fighters I hate. I've already done a video on that, and it was quite in-depth. But I just thought I'd make a list of fighters currently that are kind of pissing me off. Some of these are fighters I don't hate. They're just doing things right now that annoy me. So, with that being said, let's get started and go into this list with current UFC fighters that are pissing me off. Starting off the list, we have Kai Kara-France. Even though this guy hasn't fought in over a year and he's been removed from the rankings and is pretty much basically on hiatus right now, I thought I'd add him into this list for that very reason, because I think the reason he's taking a hiatus is to embrace his culture more, his Maori culture or some shit. Like, you are 1% Maori and like 99% white. On top of that, he sticks his tongue out like a dipshit, as you see in this photo, at every face-off. You don't see Carlos Ulberg doing that, or all the other fighters that are actually Islander doing that at every single face-off. Not just every face-off. Anytime he's got a camera in his face, he's doing this dumb face. There's probably a reason why Carlos Ulberg and all the other Islander fighters don't do it every chance they get. They do it like once a blue moon. So, yeah, I just thought I'd add him onto the list just because he's not fighting to express 1% of his DNA. My God. On top of that, he's just ugly and pisses me off just by looking at him. On top of that, he trains at CKB, which is going to be like the gayest gym ever. It's full of, Adesanya was there, but it's full of zesty guys like male stripper Carlos Ulberg and closeted homosexual Dan Hooker. You just know they all took turns butt fucking this dude, Ulberg, Izzy, and Dan Hooker. Mainly because he's the smallest, so he would have been the easiest to dominate. Like, they would have ran a train on him. But yeah, Kai Kara-France's existence just pisses me off. Next on the list, this one kind of hurts, but I have to call him out on it, and that's Manel Kape. Mainly for his beef with Sean Strickland that involved Ali Abdelaziz. And he's calling out Sean Strickland, trying to say, like, oh, you won't do shit to me and Ali in person. Like, little bro, Sean Strickland would fucking bulldoze the both of you at the same time. You're a victim weight, buddy. Stop trying to act like you would fight Sean Strickland, or maybe he would fight Sean Strickland, but stop trying to act like you would actually beat him. Like, he will just pick you up, slam you, and just sit on you. And don't even get me started on Ali. The guy's like 1-4 as a professional fighter, and that was, what, like 20 years ago. The sport has evolved leaps and bounds since then. If he was a can back then, imagine how shit he would be now. Like, come on. Now, he does have a point where Strickland acts different face-to-face than what he does online. But, like, let's not act like Ali Abdelaziz isn't a fucking terrorist and a nuisance in general. And the fact that he's even associated with him and, like, sticking up for him, just that of itself even just pisses me off. They may be friends, but I don't care. Ali Abdelaziz is a terrorist. Fuck him. And Manel Kape, come on, buddy, do better. I was rooting for you to make your way up the rankings, and now that you are, you're kind of starting to piss me off. I really don't want to switch up on my boy. Next on the list, we have a guy who no one really brings up anymore, even though he was like one of the hottest prospects, but it's Raul Rosas Jr. And the main reason this guy pisses me off is because, for starters, he's inactive. He fights like once a year on every Mexico card. And he's just boring as fuck. Like, the guy he talks a big game, and he just lays on guys and stinks up cards. And after that Rob Font fight, my God, never put him on a pay-per-view, especially a main card, ever again. The last 2 times they put him on pay-per-view main cards, he's either lost or stunk it up. And lost. Actually, wait, no, he stunk it up and lost. He won his... I fucked that up. What I mean is, he stinks it up either way, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So please, stop putting him on main cards. On top of that, he's just ugly to look at, so there's that. But yeah, I just thought I'd add him on the list real quick. He hasn't really done anything bad, it's just he's boring to watch. Let's go into someone who's actually done shit bad. Where do I even begin with Yair Rodriguez? He's been sat out for over a year. He hasn't stated that he's injured or anything, and if you are injured, Yair, maybe come forward and let us know. On top of that, he demands a title shot or a top matchup. He ducks everyone. That's another thing. He keeps turning down matchups. Give us the Diego Lopez fight, and he's just a diva in general. Like, after his win over Patricio Pitbull, there was seriously rumors that he was going to fight Volkanovski. And I have a feeling that the UFC was actually going to do that. But once they heard all the fan backlash, they realized, you know what? Bail on that idea. Which is why I don't know why they booked the Lopez rematch, come to think of it. Although, to be fair, they announced that out of the blue. Like, no, there was no rumors indicating that was going to get booked. That was probably a last-minute decision. But yeah, no, they were actually going to give Yair Rodriguez a title shot off of a win of a Patricio Pitbull. Like, that arguably could have been the most undeserved title shot, like, in recent, maybe not the most, but definitely up there. It'd definitely be top 5, especially when their first fight wasn't even competitive. Yair, buddy, get back in there and fight. Like, he's not a boring fighter. That's the worst thing of all. I can't even complain about his fighting style, but he's coming off a decision win over Patricio Pitbull, old-ass Pitbull, and he's just sat out for over a year. Like, and on top of that, he keeps ducking Diego. Like, stop ducking Diego. Fight Diego Lopez, get back in there, and we'll see what happens from there. But yeah, I think Yair Rodriguez is pissing off everyone, come to think of it. But let's move on. Next on the list, we have Gene Silva. Do I even need to explain it? It could be because he's a Jew. It could be because he barks like a retard. It could be because of that video of him crying over the belt. It could be because he's extremely annoying and obnoxious at press conferences. But yeah, I gotta have Gene Silva. I used to be a huge fan of him, but ever since the Diego Lopez loss, he's just really started to piss me off, along with everyone else. And it's a shame, because he actually has a really fun fighting style, and I do love his style, but he's just become so insufferable recently. To make matters worse, he's probably going to become a champion. Like, if he fights Volkanovski right now, I honestly think he slimes out Volk, just because Volk's chin is hanging on by a thread, and he is a better striker than Lopez. And I think he's going to be able to cut Volk off and catch him. I'd rather him as a champ over Movzar. I want to put Movzar on this list so badly, but he hasn't done anything recently to piss me off, so it's kind of not justified. But yeah, Gene Silva's pissing me off. He's pissing all of us off. Let's move on. Next on the list, we have Paddy Pimblett. This one's a bit more for his fan base rather than him, but even him, like recently he just bought Ilia Toporia's stool that he quote-unquote quit on, even though it was his corner who stopped the fight. This motherfucker got bashed just as badly by Gaethje, and didn't put up anywhere near as good as a fight as Ilia. Yes, Ilia got finished, but he also came much closer to winning than Paddy did. Paddy got whooped for 5 rounds, whereas Ilia had Gaethje out of there and pretty much fumbled a finish against him, and arguably got a 10-8. What did Paddy do? He landed a couple good shots here and there, but even on the ground, he got completely bitched around, and he's meant to be the jiu-jitsu guy, whereas Ilia was out grappling him. And on top of that, after his Benoit Saint Denis win, I'm tired of these fans acting like him and Ilia is completely different now, or, oh, Paddy's way better. It's like, Benoit shot right into a guillotine, like he always does. Like, that, he basically gifted the win on a silver platter. He still loses to Ilia, still loses to Gaethje, still loses to Arman, Max, Charles, Rufy, and even Quillen. Maybe Gamrot's a bit questionable. Maybe he might catch Gamrot in the sub. But he still loses to all these other top guys. There's probably guys coming up in the rankings that might beat him. Like, people are just overhyping him over a win that was gifted to him. And just the whole beef with Ilia to me is just cringe. Like, Ilia will whoop this guy's ass when they fight. The Benoit win was impressive, sure. But I still just don't rate this dude. And I still think he's cocky and annoying. And his fans, oh, they're just the worst. Let's move on. Next on the list, we have Michael Chandler, and honestly, I think he just continuously pisses us all off. Because the guy's like 2-5 in the UFC, he keeps calling out Conor McGregor, he keeps trying to call for big fights. Like, this guy was really trying to fight Arman at the White House, even though he has not earned that fight at all. And when Arman was coming up through the rankings, he wanted nothing to do with him. Same with Islam, he openly ducked Islam when Islam called him out during an interview, and then once Islam became the champion, now all of a sudden he wanted a piece of him. So yeah. On top of that, he's just a fucking cheater. And I don't even know why he's still in the UFC. I don't really think I need to go into depth too much as to why Chandler's pissing me off. I think he just routinely pisses us all off. So yeah, let's go on to the next one. Now, here we are, the reason behind this video. Let's go through why Kamaru Usman has been pissing us all off for the last year or so. After he beat Buckley, which fair play to him. Yeah, it was a boring win, but like, he won, so yeah, whatever. He then proceeded to sit around and demand a title shot after coming off 1 win and 3 losses before that. Didn't fight for over a year. then finally realizes he's not just going to get a title shot because of his reign that happened before his 3-fight loss streak. So he moves up to middleweight, fights Duplessis. Okay, fair enough. And in the fight, he gets whooped and keeps trying to complain to the ref about legal shots. Like, literally got punched in the eye and trying to call for an eye poke, which he's done his whole career. He did it against Colby. He's done this shit all the time. He's the biggest cheater. On top of that, he constantly grabs the fence in his fights as well. No one seemed to call him out for that. Everyone had no problem calling out Leon for him when he did in their fight, yet Usman did it just as much. And yeah, if it wasn't for that, he would have been finished like 10 times, but no, he had to keep crying to the ref like a little bitch the whole time. And then at the end of the fight, he has the audacity to complain about the scorecards when he pretty much lost every round, except maybe you could give him the 5th round because of that flurry at the end. But even then, that's being generous. I had him down 4 rounds going into the 5th. So I don't know what Usman is complaining about, seriously, and he's going to go on his podcast and cope about it. But he needs to just retire as well. Yeah. Usman just pisses me off, and I'm so glad he didn't get the Makhachev fight, because that would have infuriated me. I would have made like a 20-minute rant if that fight got made. But yeah, fuck Kamaru Usman. He's an annoying cheater, he's a complainer, and I just can't wait to see him go. Like, can we just get rid of him? But he's not the only welterweight pissing me off. There's someone who manages to piss us off even more than Usman, and I think you know who that is. That's Ian Machado Gary, or Ian Cuckchado, Retardo, whatever you want to call him. Oh my God, this guy's just insufferable. Oh, I've gone out there and I've just dominated. Fucking, I don't even want to do this impression of him. He's just that fucking annoying. The guy will go to a 28-28 decision every time and act like he went out there and absolutely dominated his opponent. He pissed me off in the build-up to the Neil Magny fight, making out like Neil Magny's some child beater, and actually got Neil Magny in trouble in a custody battle with his kids. He made fun of Jeff Neal's mugshot, but Lord forbid anyone said anything about his wife, who's constantly trying to be in the spotlight. Not to mention this whole thing with his brother that just came out. And honestly, I believe the brother, because after seeing, if you think like, if there's a doubt in your mind that the brother could be lying, like you think that maybe this story's bullshit, just take a good look at how Ian Gary has acted over the last few years. He's a whiny, loudmouthed, insufferable, entitled prick who complains when he doesn't get his own way. And it's just insufferable on every level. And he's... I believe the brother 100%. Like, is there anyone who doesn't? I mean, looking at how he's acted, it's so obvious that he's the one who's fucked up in this whole situation. And yeah, he's just routinely annoying on the mic. And he keeps trying to take credit for Shavkat's injury, even though he lost that fight. Islam, please choke this guy's arse out in the first round, please. I do not want to listen to him anymore, as do any of us. And not to mention, women should never rule the world. They shouldn't be in charge of anything that isn't a kitchen. Ian Gary's a moron for thinking that. Next on the list, we have Khamzat Chimaev. Mainly because he was inactive as a champion. He was inactive as a contender. He had no title defenses, and now all of a sudden he's demanding a rematch against Sean Strickland. Fair enough, it was a close fight, but he got an easy path to the belt. He had one fight at middleweight, well, at least after moving up permanently. He did have one fight against Gerald Meerschaert years ago. Point is, he beat one contender and then instantly got a title shot. He got to jump the line, even though guys like a Mavov had clearly earned it more. He beat Drickers in the most boring way possible. Then he loses to Strickland. Now he's demanding a rematch like he's earned it. Like, I think Ilya is more entitled to a rematch than he is. If he wants a rematch, he can get back in line. If not, he can fuck off to 205. Which probably wouldn't be a bad idea, because he's probably one fight away from a title anyway up there, given that it's a shallow division. He'd probably just need to fight Paulo Costa or Yuri Prohaska, and boom, he gets a title shot. Especially being a former champion. But the point is, if he wants another title shot in any division, he should have to get out there and at least get one win and actually earn his shot. Even though Mali has... Actually, no, Mali did get an immediate rematch. But even now, he's having to earn his way back. And the same should apply for Khamzat. If Islam loses, he might be able to get a rematch just because he was a dominant lightweight champion and he was a double champion. But if Khamzat, he wasn't a double champion, he had no title wins or defenses in the division below, he can get in line. do Strickland versus Amabov, and Chimaev can fight whoever in the meantime. Or he can just move up to 205. And now the last person on the list, just because I couldn't be bothered doing every single person, and I might leave room for a part two, but anyway, it's Taito Ivasa. Mainly because he's just, he doesn't even care about his career anymore. He's just showing up to collect the paycheck and embarrassing Australia in the process. Like his last fight, they picked a guy who was 0-2, the easiest possible matchup they could have picked for him, and he still lost and got smudged to a decision. He made Louis Sutherland look elite, and Louis Sutherland's barely UFC caliber. Why is he still in the UFC, yet they cut Rosenstruck? And he lives near me, as I've mentioned on this channel a million times. And every single time people see him around, he's drinking or smoking or gambling and not training. And when he is training, he looks shit. Like, he clearly doesn't care about his career anymore. So why should he? Why should we? I don't want to see him fight again. I don't think a lot of other people want to see him fight again. He will probably lose again. Like, at this point, I don't care if they feed him to Gable Steveson. Or, I don't know, who else is there? Maybe give Pereira a free win and just feed him to Pereira. They did spar together a few years ago, but yeah, if you want to get Pereira a win at heavyweight, desperately just feed Taito Ivasa this fight. Then we can get rid of him. Or hell, if Derek Lewis wants another win, maybe we can do this rematch. I honestly think that was his last win, and honestly, I think Derek Lewis beats him in a rematch. And honestly, I kind of get the feeling they're only keeping him around so that he can match Tony Ferguson's losing streak at heavyweight. But yeah, this is just pissing me off. The fact that he's still in the UFC, despite the fact that he doesn't take his career seriously. He doesn't care about his career. And he's taking a spot from other fighters that could be in the UFC. Like, they cut Rosenstruck after one loss. But yeah, fuck Taito Ivasa. Get him out the UFC. And I just don't want to see him fight ever again. Well, that's going to be all for this video. If there's any other fighters you think that I might have missed that are also pissing you off, type them in the comments, and if I agree with you, maybe I'll do a part 2 since we've got some time before the next pay-per-view, and these upcoming fight cards aren't really anything worth talking about. I'll try and be as active as I can, but I've got a fight coming up again, so I'm going to be training for that, but I don't know, we'll see what happens. Anyway, peace out.